Hello, everyone, and welcome back to eChannelNews. I'm your host, Paulo Del Nibletto. Agentic AI at a petabyte scale. What does that look like? Well, here to talk about that and a lot more is Greg DeaKyne, the Vice President of Product Management at MeshIQ. MeshIQ is a modern middleware management company based in Plainview, New York. Greg, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me. Really excited to be here and share all the great work the MeshIQ team's been doing to bring the latest version 12.1 to the market.
Well, we're happy for you to join us. And yeah, I want to start there. Version 12.1 middleware for messaging, event processing. What will this new release address in the marketplace in your eyes?
So MeshIQ has been around for several years. Really started in the IBM MQ space, and so at the time there was no tools to help manage the IBM MQ. No monitoring. And so that's really where MeshIQ, formerly known as Nastel Technology, started. And over several years, the team built so many different product solutions geared towards that middleware space. And so we've had a management layer, a data layer, an application for tracing and tracking messages, and a application for observability. And so 12.1 really brings that all together and really expands upon just IBM Q, because what we have found is the teams that we have onboarded for IBM Q support on our platform are responsible for other middleware technologies, or in the future, they will be responsible for other middleware technologies. So now these teams can, in one place, now it's one application, one platform, manage, observe, and track and trace all the middleware technologies that they have at their enterprise. And so most of our customers are using us for IBM MQ plus Kafka, Solus, TIBCO, RabbitMQ, ActiveMQ, a combination of any of those all within the single platform. So really what we're bringing to the market is that single platform, the single data layer, which really helps with agentic AI coming on board right now, and then a single place for observability to help understand proactively and reactively what's going on.
When did you guys change your name to MeshIQ?
I believe it was about 4 years ago. It was with some new private equity came in, and so that's about the time that the rebranding happened and the focus on bringing the multiple applications under one umbrella and really expanding into other middleware technologies as well.
Oh, so it was during the pandemic. Okay, so what's the go-to-market strategy with this new release? Anything specific for MSPs?
Yeah, one of the things that we've really spent a lot of time on in the last couple releases is an overhaul and refresh of the UI and the UX actually too. And so this latest release makes it much easier to onboard new middleware teams. And so uh, what we're seeing from some of our existing customers is they have responsibility for maybe IBM MQ, ActiveMQ, and then they have across the enterprise different development teams that are spinning up Kafka environments. And those teams are using open source tools that can't keep up with performance. They're not regulated by a central team. And so we've added some more simple to use out of box dashboards based on the technology you're connecting to. So when you go to onboard a new Kafka cluster, we connect to it once, and right away we have kind of out of box dashboards that are pertinent to a Kafka developer or administrator. So you can click through and see the different topics, the queues, the messages on the topics, and you don't have to take any time to go and set up and configure. So that's been a nice breakthrough in this 12.1 release. Is we're really making it easier and quicker to get that value out of the product.
I was reading this morning about 12.1, and one of the things that interested me was this journey in the marketplace from gigabit to petabyte scale telemetry.
Mhm.
What's the journey been like in the marketplace?
So we've taken and over the course of several years we've introduced different products to solve specific use cases. And one of those that we solved in the past was the ability to understand and track and trace, a business application as it goes through different middleware technologies. So one of the areas we focus on with some of our retail customers is the B2B flow. So it might come into a B2B gateway. We can track that to IBM MQ, and then from there it might do some processing and go to Kafka. But in the end, our product can store all those relationships in the transactions. And what we've seen in the past is that's been a good place to put all your telemetry data. Well, actually, it's not. It ended up not being a good place to put all your telemetry data because as customers onboard more and more middleware, the technology we used in the back end to help with tracking and tracing those messages does not um, help out too much when you have large amounts of historical trend data. And so we've overhauled the entire database backend for that piece of the application. And now we've seen customers that are able to ingest much more data into the platform and really scale it. And we have some customers that use that simply to keep up with, dashboarding within our tool to show um, for their operation center what's going on, or taking the data in and consuming it in another system like Grafana or their observability tool. And then we have some customers that are on the starting journey of building AI agents using us as that data store, one of the tools. And now we're refining that offering so that we can actually have a out of the box MCP server per se, but that data is what's really integral to these AI agents, and now we're able to consume, uh, process, and help stream that data into all those different various use cases.
Yeah, I thought that data message was really intriguing because there's a lot of bad data, and AI is sort of like gobbling that up and creating problems. What does MeshIQ do to sort of alleviate that issue?
Yeah, so we see ourselves as the middleware experts when it comes to everything, including the data for AI agents. So we're not trying to populate our data store with tons of additional data beyond the middleware layer. So when a customer is creating a new AI agentic workflow, it's going to start touching a lot of different tools, and one of those happens to be ours. So we stick very narrowly focused on the middleware layer, knowing that other tools or data repositories are focusing on the storage or the network layer, or some of the other things outside of middleware. So we're trying to keep the guardrails on to just the middleware data so that we're not flooded with all that garbage in type things that you might see where you're just consuming everything. So it's very relevant and specific at the data model, as well as the data we're ingesting to middleware data and what's important to the middleware team.
All right. How does this improve governance?
So we track when it comes to middleware, we track everything. So as changes are occurring on the middleware platforms, not only can you drive those changes through our tool, so you can actually go in and make changes individually to a middleware component, or you can make it across multiple objects, across all of your brokers, bring them all up into the same level of config and schedule it. But we're tracking it with an audit trail. So we've seen that the amount of information that we're storing when it comes to auditing is what customers need in order to keep up with compliance and certifications and regulatory things. So, and we have customers that are the top five banks across the U.S. and some global banks, and so we're able to help provide them within our platform what they need in order to keep up with all the various audits and certifications they have. So, again, we focus just on the middleware layer, and all changes that occur within that middleware layer is strongly not only audited, but with really advanced and detailed role-based access. You can set up who has access to certain areas of the data as well too.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate all your insights on middleware and Mesh IQ. Let's talk about you for a little bit. What are some of
Yeah,
your likes and dislikes?
in general or with middleware.
In general, well, I would say you can make it business, you can make it channel, you can make it personal. I'll leave that up to you. If you want to talk
Sure.
about middleware likes and dislikes, I'm open to that as well.
No, my family gets a good kick out of overhearing some of the calls they make at home and hearing all the different middleware technologies. So
Mhm.
definitely hear enough of it bouncing around of like, what's Kafka? What's ActiveMQ? What's the latest that you're talking about? I would say my likes and dislikes in general. I really like to travel with my family. So we've been traveling with my wife and two daughters all their lives. So it's been great to be able to pick up and go somewhere and visit family friends or go across into to Europe and visit some fun places there. So travel certainly is a big part of what we like to do as a family.
What's
When I
the
had
what's the
time,
what's the biggest aha trip that you took your two kids to?
um, we did this trip where we spent time with my side of the family in Italy. So it was all the cousins and aunts and uncles and
Are
my
you
my
Italian?
parents. And I'm not Italian, no,
Oh, okay.
no.
I'm
We just
Italian, so
happened
I
to
so
choose.
I did the same thing. I took my daughters. I have two daughters as well, and I took them to Italy when they turned 18. Anyways, go on.
Yeah. So we were there as a large family for the week, and it was nice to then break away after the week, just the four of us, and just riding trains and seeing how independent they can be walking around the canals of Venice and some of those amazing areas. So it's been fun to it's fun too as we travel and you see those young parents with the strollers and all the stuff they have to carry with them, and now we have our kids that are teenagers walking around on their own, and so it's fun to reflect back on those earlier days, but it's also nice to be able to every person fends for themselves through the airport as well.
Yeah, I don't envy the fathers who have to assemble and reassemble strollers on the fly in airports and
Yeah,
planes. Luckily, I'm hands free now with my kids, so it's a great time of life for sure.
yeah.
Greg, where can people follow you directly, or maybe Mesh IQ?
Yeah, so we have a very active LinkedIn page for, I believe it's just MeshIQ. And then I am on Twitter. I will share some of the stuff that MeshIQ does. I think it's just at Greg DeaKyne, but most of where we share stuff all originates at MeshIQ. We've also recently been putting out a lot more YouTube videos. People want to see what 12.1 looks like. We have a great video out there as well. So start with our MeshIQ page on LinkedIn, and then from there, everything is accessible, whether it's YouTube or LinkedIn.
Fantastic. Well, there you have it from Greg DeKine of Mesh IQ. Really appreciate your time today, and I appreciate your time for sticking around and watching this video. That's it for me, Paulo Dunley Bletto. Until next time, so long.